Hello, we're back.
We're back. It's Lauren Duletzke.
And it's Jacki G.
And you are here with the Click Clack Show, where we talk about all things women's sports and women's lives.
That is what we do. In this week's episode, I am going to look like an Uber dyke. Let's just come out the gate with it. Like, I'm going to need to shift my head to see that I have hair. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very dicey.
You know I can't say that word, but...
That's okay. I can. I surely can.
It's like when I ask if someone's Jewish and I'm like, oh no, I can say that because I'm Jewish.
1000%.
I did that yesterday in my OB office. I'm like, oh, are you Jewish? Because so am I.
Yeah. No, I can say whatever I want in the gay world. Absolutely.
Oh, what a way to enter the episode. Okay, Jack.
Yes.
There's so much going on as always. We're going to start by talking about the WNBA CBA.
Okay.
Everybody, I feel like we are at the climax of the story right now. We're just like waiting to see what happens. Recently, the league and the players agreed to a moratorium, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Can you help us noobs understand what a moratorium means with a CBA and where does this put us as far as getting players onto the court again?
Yeah, so basically an agreement on a moratorium because both sides failed to reach an agreement on the new CBA or an extension of the previous one. So they entered a period called status quo, in which working conditions basically of the former CBA are maintained. Where it stands right now is teams can act on sending players qualifying offers, sending cores and things like that, things that are in the previous CBA, but no player is going to accept it knowing that there's going to be a new CBA.
Interesting. So it feels like it's more of a holding pattern, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a holding pattern where you can almost think of it as it's another extension. Like both sides are still very far apart. And both sides are working diligently to come to an agreement. Obviously, again, we're not anywhere near that agreement yet, but I think just day by day, hopefully they're making progress.
I mean, God, let's hope so, because I mean, you know, us being here in Portland, we should have expansion drafts. We should have had it, but it's obviously delayed. We want to have some players here. So for the love of God, can we get this agreement done?
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be historic. It's
No,
like
for
we're all
sure.
just waiting. We're all waiting to see what happens. But like the buildup for this is crazy.
The buildup is wild. We want an expansion draft. We want free agency to start. We want to see where players are going to land because everyone's a free agent minus the rookies and a couple players. So it's just like, yeah, we're just in a complete waiting pattern. Everything's going to happen all at once, like we always say. We got March Madness coming up. We want to make sure that the WNBA draft still is going to be on April 13th. But again, like that's TBD too because of everything. So yeah, we just have a lot to wait for.
What do you think is like the biggest sticking point in the agreement right now?
It's definitely the rev share. I think that the players are asking for at least 30% of rev share, and I don't think that they're anywhere near there. So I believe that that is the main emphasis of this whole waiting pattern. Like hypothetically, let's say the salary cap, we could get it to like 5 million or in the past, the salary cap per team was about 1.5 million. So if they could bump it up to 5 million per team, like you're looking at, let's say 20% of that will go to a Supermax player. So whatever that nets out to be, let's say more or less $1.5 million. And then the rest of the money in the pie, basically like $3.5 million would be divvied up upon the other people, the other players. This is just hypothetical. These are numbers that I think if they could agree to, if they could all come to an agreement, like that would work. But I think where it stands right now, like the salary cap and the rev share that the league is offering is not good enough. I believe that the PA proposed a $10.5 million proposal, like salary cap per team. Obviously, when you're negotiating, you're going to shoot high and then hope that it comes somewhere into the middle. And that's why I originally, said like the $5 million number, because that's like somewhere in between.
Interesting. So, okay, so we're still fighting over money. That's
No,
not,
absolutely,
I mean,
that's the biggest thing, rev share for
that's
sure.
rev share, yeah. What do you feel like the league is just still so stuck on profitability and a faster road to profitability? Do we feel like that is just still the big sticking point here from their perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think the league is tied up in not wanting to give up, a lot of the rev share because of so many factors that we've talked about in
Mhm.
the past. Of course, it's a league that's growing. So, because it's the reason why it is growing is because of the players. So, the players should be able to share in that, success. And right now, they don't feel valued and they don't feel like they're getting what they deserve. I would feel the exact same way. Like there is no, growth in the league without the players. So I think, the standstill, the face off, like it makes a ton of sense. And I think both sides are playing really, really hard to get.
It is definitely reminiscent of the big CBA deal in the '80s with the NBA. And we know in that situation, the league finally said, fine, we're going to take a risk on the players, and look where we are today. So, I
Facts.
mean, just for the love of God, please pay the players. It's the right thing to do. I always say it's important as leaders to be on the right side of history. Be
Yeah,
on the right side of history,
for sure.
especially with a league like the WNBA that has meant so much more to people than sport. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a unique league, and I think, again, it just you look back in 5 to 10 years from now, Kathy, what do you wanna be known for? What do you want your legacy to be? And, I know that Kathy's getting tons of shit right now, which I can't even imagine how hard it is for her, and there's so much behind the scenes that none of us know. Like,
Yeah.
none of us know. I just always go back to, like, what do you wanna be remembered for in this period of time?
Right. Right. I think that's a great point, and who knows? I don't know if she's ever answered that publicly. I just know that everyone is out to do their job and trying to do, what they think is best. And if this is where she stands, this is where she stands. Obviously, we know where the players stand,
Mhm.
and obviously they're going to come to an agreement at some point. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it'll just be nice to get to there.
We all want a WNBA season so freaking bad this year. The momentum is so high. This is like breaking news. I was just watching a clip from Sue and Megan's podcast, A Touch More, big fans over here. Apparently, Paige is getting casted in like a heated rivalry-esque spinoff. And
What?
I'm on wall. Like, we will talk more about
Wait,
this,
like
you
a
guys.
women's spinoff?
Yes, like a women's spinoff. I don't know, it's probably gonna be basketball specific, but look, your girls over here, like, we are looking for women's heated rivalry stories. Please, for the love of God, that would so sell. Like,
Yeah.
so could you imagine Paige being in a major motion picture, being a star in a major motion picture, and that how that's gonna impact the WNBA? Massive.
I actually can see that. I can absolutely envision that, and I think that Paige is the perfect fit for it. Wow, that would be crazy. I know how passionate you are about heated rivalry, so I know, like, any conversations around that, like, you're gonna be glowing. Um,
We love love. We love love.
oh, absolutely, we love love. We just don't like to watch, gay male sex porn, like,
You don't,
on
I do.
on TV, like, for hours on hours. That's my take, we know that. You do. We've clarified that as well. But yeah, no, that'd be dope. That'd be so cool.
So cool. So, look, everybody, this isn't really an update per se, but the latest headline on the CBA is that we're in a moratorium. There's still a lot to figure out. Jack, do you have any sense? Because we need to get to expansion draft. We don't know when that's going to happen. That's really important for the new teams coming on board, Portland and Toronto. Do we have a sense of, is there a point in which we're going to say there's no deal still? And is it gonna push back this season? Like, at what point does that happen?
I had saw Brianna Stewart in an interview with Sarah Spain, and Sarah had asked her if you had to pick a date on when the new CBA would come you guys would come to an agreement, and she said February, which is,
Okay.
like, right around the corner. I don't know if that is gonna happen or not by then. My guess is, like, I don't know at what point where we're gonna say, "Okay, the season is gonna have to be pushed back," but if I had to bet, the season will I would think the season would likely get pushed back. I just don't know at what point that would be when we would decide that.
It just feels like any transparency around that would be just wonderfully helpful to so
Yeah.
many fans, but here we are.
Yeah, we're all
But you know
just
what?
gonna be
At lea
thinking about the CBA and dreaming about, like, when this shit's gonna happen.
I know, we're gonna all start having dreams. But you know what, you guys? This year, there is so much sport to look forward to. We can't also not just talk about the fact that Athletes Unlimited softball is coming to Portland,
I know,
hot
let's
off the
go.
press. So they're gonna be playing, I believe, where the Pickles play,
Okay.
out in our, like,
Or
minor
the
league.
isn't it the Hobbs or the Hops or
Yes,
something
the
like that?
Hops. Thank you. Look at you. Look
So,
at
is that what you meant
you.
to say?
I think that's what I meant to
Okay,
say.
so out there in, like, Hillsboro.
Yes. So
Amazing, I love that field, I've actually gone there a couple times and seen some games, such a vibe, so cute, I so excited.
So for anybody who's been living under a rock, and that's mean to say, but it's true, women's Major League Baseball and women's softball is growing so fast in this country. It's so exciting. So I just had to slip in that announcement because we in Portland are craving more women's sports. We are
For
hoping that
sure.
the WNBA season will be on time, but we can also really look forward to other sports that are going to happen. I just wanted to make it known that, yes, look, Portland is going to be a big place for women's sports and sport, and do not take us for granted.
No, definitely don't, and I'm so excited that they're gonna have a team here, let's go, we're definitely gonna go.
I know, your girl played softball when she
Oh,
was
yeah.
little.
I mean, so did I.
Oh, you played softball too?
Absolutely.
Ugh, I could so see that.
I batted left-handed.
Okay, my dad would freak out if he heard that because he has like a theory because he's been a baseball fan his whole life. He has a theory that anybody who's left-handed is just better at baseball or softball.
My god, I'm obsessed. Well, honestly, who knows what sport I could have really thrived in outside of basketball, but I was a hella good batter, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I bet you'd be good at a lot of other sports too.
Well,
Next up is skiing once we get the knees. And then we've got Olympics coming up in
oh my god,
February.
yes.
The Olympic storytelling that's starting to evolve is just so exciting to me. We've had a lot of Olympic trials. Big congratulations to Brooklyn McDougall, who we actually had on the show last year, who is
Mhm.
a speed skater for Team Canada. Believe that she got through the trials. So
She's
Brooklyn,
amazing.
she's amazing. She's also an artist,
Yes, she is.
very multidimensional woman. So pay attention right now, everybody, because the stories are starting to pick up. We're starting to see, Amber Glenn just won the US Figure Skating Championship national title again. And just the storytelling is going to be beautiful. A lot of people are predicting that our US women's skating team is going to be gold this year,
Okay.
which is really exciting. Just top tier talent. Ice skating is one of my favorite Winter Olympic sports along with snowboarding. So just a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna be talking on future episodes about the Winter Olympics. I'm gonna be locked in. I'm excited. Ice skating or whatever, who's the girl back in the day, the Asian girl back in the day that was hella
Um,
good?
was it Christy Yamaguchi?
Maybe. She was fun to watch.
I mean, there's just been such Tara Lipinski, there's been so much incredible talent over the years, and sometimes feel like Summer Olympics gets more attention than Winter Olympics,
Yeah.
but I love winter and snow sports, and so I think this one's gonna be a big one.
Okay.
So
I'm
everybody
excited.
needs to watch those stories, follow the athletes, you guys, because they get so much attention during the Olympics, but the percentage of them that actually have enough generational money from their sport
Mhm.
especially the women, is so small. So please go follow all of the female athletes competing in the Winter Olympics. It's really, really important.
They literally train all year round for this one moment, and, like, they should be so rewarded at the end of it, and it just sucks that, like, they're not.
I know.
So, yeah, I mean, the least we could do is support and follow and, yeah, just watch their journey.
Okay, so can we switch gears because I wanna tell you about something I'm extremely triggered by right now.
Oh my god, let me think.
What do
What
you
could
think it
Lauren
is?
be triggered by? Well, I know it's not heated rivalry because I know you're so excited about that. I don't know, what is it? There could be so many things.
It has to do with women and equal pay, which is like, obviously, we just talked about the CBA and
Yes.
WNBA. So, Boardroom, our friends over at Boardroom, they constantly release these stats, right? Where it's like
Oh, I know
most,
what you're about to say.
yep, you know what I'm gonna say. Like the most watched athlete of 2025 or whatever. So they just announced a list that is the highest paid athletes. I think it's top 20 highest paid athletes in the world. Not one woman on that list.
That's crazy.
And look, I haven't done all of the research to look at the disparity between the lowest paid of that list, which was like, I think somewhere in the 50 million per year. I'm pretty sure, and again, I need to go check myself on this fact check, but I think Coco Gauff is one of the highest paid female athletes right now, and it's somewhere around 30 million. That's still about a $20 million disparity between the
That's
two.
that's a huge
And
gap.
I'm so sick of seeing that.
Yeah.
And look, we know women's sports is on the rise. It's going to take a really long time for us to find equal pay parity. We've talked about this since the beginning of this podcast, even before, how passionate we are around women and equal pay, and women's sports. We're just so far off still. And so seeing those lists like just triggers me.
Oh, it's
So
so triggering because women really put themselves out there in a media spotlight too, and women, their stories are celebrated, and the consumer knows these women or feels like they know these women versus like the men, we don't really feel like we know them, right? Maybe the top tier ones because there's been documentaries and there's been so many interviews and like there's that connection for sure, but it's so sad because it's like these women are brilliant and so
Mhm.
amazing. Not only do they deserve equal pay, but I mean, they just deserve the respect, and I think that it's just so sad. And that just makes me so mad that we're still so far off. Like, I could see, like, if there was only a few women at the bottom of that list, but like for there not to be one and still such a huge gap from the last to the top on the women's side, that's crazy.
They had one that was um, like actors as a parallel, actors who have basically made the highest grossing movies or like ever in Hollywood. And Zoe Saldana was number one. And
That's
then I think
dope.
Scarlett Johansson was number two, probably for Avatar and for Marvel, right? So it was really cool to see women at the top of that list. But I just, it's just, I guess it just fuels me more to figure out and to problem solve and figure out, like, how do we get there, you know?
Yeah.
And I can have my triggered moment where I just get really annoyed and pissed off about it, but I genuinely believe, and this is why, going back to the WNBA CBA stuff, I'm like, I genuinely believe when you invest in women, there's only positive outcomes. We've talked about female billionaires on this podcast and what they do for society. And sport is such a powerful tool to drive change. So for the love of God, let's get a woman on that list in the next year or two,
I
please.
agree, and that's why it is so important for women in our industry to support other women, because the more empowered women feel and the more positivity there is around this subject and around this matter, like, it's only gonna continue to bring more awareness to it, and people are gonna start listening, and, eyes are gonna be wide open, and it's just we're gonna put more pressure on society for that, so I think it's just so important for us to stick together and just really, help each other and support each other, especially women.
No gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Gatekeeping, I think, has probably been a pretty historical challenge in sports, especially in women's sports where there hasn't been enough support, infrastructure, money, you name it, right? But I think if we can really get rid of the gatekeeping and really crack open the potential through partnerships,
Mhm.
and powerful women teaming up, like that's the future. And I do see that happening. Like even within our own brand, we're small, but we team up with all kinds of amazing like bigger creators or women in sports, and like people follow us and like our stuff, and that alone just shows me so much positive momentum in the right direction. But on the flip side, it's beautiful here in Portland right now. I saw Jack, you did your little selfie from your famous walks that you
I d
do.
I
It
did.
inspired me to get out there, so I was very happy about
It
that.
is so nice outside, girl. I am so happy with this weather. I'm like, "Where am I gonna fucking go?" I feel like I need to just go somewhere and just lay outside in the sun on my face. It's just been amazing. It makes me so happy.
We in the Northwest, we love our vitamin D. It's very important to our
It's so
existence.
important, especially at this time of the year. I'm like, "Ugh, so good."
Insane. Speaking of amazing women who have a lot of capital and have done incredible things in their sports, something you and I have been talking a lot about is longevity. And, you're such an amazing poster child for that because of what you went through with injury and being able to stay in the league, play overseas with that many ACL tears. And with, new innovation, new science, keeping women in sports longer is going to make the value per player, especially female players, so much higher. And
Yeah.
so Venus is back on the tennis court
At 45 years old.
at 45 years old, 45 and thriving. She
Yes.
also just got married,
Yep.
which Serena and her posted the cutest post together. I was like, God, I love these sisters so much. But what's your thoughts on that as a former athlete and just like someone like that getting back on the court after so many years?
I think it's fascinating and I think it is incredible. I think Venus is also a player that has made such a great living off of being a tennis player and she's made so much money. Therefore, she has so many resources, right? So she has the resources and the tools to be able to invest in her body. And that is so key and so important. Like, there has been conversations about LeBron putting in like $1.5 million into his body in the off season. And that is why he's 40 something years old and still playing at such a high level because he has the money to do so. He
Yep.
can invest in his body. And that is why the longevity of his career is what it is. And for Venus to be able to come back at 45 years old and play at a high level, like that is also a sport that is so hard on your body and your
Mhm.
joints. It's a very lateral sport. That's no joke. And she's playing on concrete. So she's doing something right. I'm so here for it. I would love to see more players being able to play until they're 45. Like, why not? I feel like we're there. I feel like with everything that there is and everything that is accessible to athletes, as long as they have the resources, it's like, let's go.
I could not agree more. And I think, I have so many opinions about the journey of motherhood and how it changes your body. I recently talked to a woman, her name's Dr. Margie Davenport. She specializes in motherhood and movement out of Canada. And she just opened my eyes to so much data and research around longevity with, post baby and just as women age. And it's just still such a gap in
Mhm.
our understanding as a society when it pertains to women's motion and movement and our development. Even, perimenopause, right? Or menopause. How does that impact our movement? There's just so much more we need to understand that's tied to performance.
Yeah.
But I just think that any woman over the age of, let's say, 35, doing sport at a high level, whether it's running marathons, getting back on the court and playing tennis, whatever sport it is, snowboarding. I have a friend who competed for Team USA for winter sports for snowboarding. She's now had 2 kids and she's trying to get to Milan again. She might be actually going out there. Faye,
Let's
love you, Faye.
go.
And she's an absolute monster on the snow,
Yeah.
monster, and so inspirational to me. And it's like we shouldn't be putting expiration dates on women in sports because we're
I could not agree more.
yeah, I mean, you know this well enough. I mean, you had to make that decision, around 30 to figure out like, do I need to hang up my jersey or not? But you still play sports a ton.
I also think, yes, there's the physical aspect of it. Also, I want to add that there is a lot of studies that are going into cartilage regeneration right
Mm,
now, which is going to be so big for so many people. Like just a simple injection and it helps grow your cartilage back because that is a huge reason why a lot of athletes do have to stop playing. That is why I
yeah.
had to stop playing. Um, so that's going to be huge, but also like the mental piece of it too, right? When you're constantly being told by the time you're 40, you're slower, you're not as, fast anymore, you're not as quick. Your body's just, not what it used to be. And you're constantly being told that like by that age you're not as valuable or useful. It's like, okay, well then your body's obviously gonna catch up to that. I think if we change the narrative a bit, and obviously this is
Mhm.
such a larger conversation, but like even with, like, aging people, right? I always tell my
Mhm.
parents, like, if you continue to tell yourself you can't go on this walk or you can't do this and you can't do that, your body's going to catch up to that and you're not gonna be able to do it. But if we
Yeah.
switch our mindsets, even in sport, like, I remember, like, when I was 30 or 32, like, everyone was saying that I was old and I was this and that, I was getting older, but this is, like, a thing, and when you get to, like, that age, it's like, you're not a spring chicken anymore, you're a veteran, like, you're gonna lead now in, like, a different way, and it's like, no, like, I'm actually playing the best basketball of my life at 32, like, let's switch the narrative, that shit irritates me.
I mean, say less, and let's switch that narrative when it comes to a lot of things with women aging. I was just catching up with my best friend who had a baby when she was 23, and then she's now 37 and thinking about having another baby. So that's a big era gap. She's like, well, I'm old, I'm geriatric. And I'm like, God, I hate hearing that. Like, I guess, yes, that's how medically they describe it, but it just is it's so demeaning to
It's so
women. Like,
demeaning.
they have no terms like that for men. It's just so demeaning.
No,
It's
like, and obviously, like, science knows that the older we get, the harder it is to have a baby and all of that, like, we know that,
yeah.
but there's still so many opportunities and chances to get pregnant even at like, I just got a mammogram the other day, and the woman who's taking my mammogram, she had her first baby when she was 43, her second baby when she was 46, and, like,
Wow.
that was incredible to hear
Get it, girl.
because yeah, I mean, it's just, like, you never know, and yes, obviously, this is, like, a science thing and not necessarily, like, a mental thing, but I
Yeah.
do hate that narrative, and it bugs the shit out of me because 'cause I'm like, obviously, we're gonna play into this, obviously, our bodies are gonna catch up to this because this is just, like, what we're being told, you know?
Yeah, we can't fight aging. It's the one thing humans can't fight. It just is. Um, on the flip side though, so I sent Jackie a Instagram the other day that had some data around entrepreneurship because as you've probably all caught wind, we are also entrepreneurs as well as podcasters. But it said that most women become entrepreneurs when they're 42. That's the age average. And most women entrepreneurs make their first million when they're 49. So, talk about the 40s being the golden era for women in capital and wealth.
Amazing. Like, I felt so inspired and just happy when you sent me that because that is such a cool stat. It's just, like it's a great message for any woman or anyone out there that is, like, you know, thinking that they can't do something because they're too old or this and that, like, you can literally change your entire life at any point. If you put in the work, if you put in the effort and you believe in what you wanna do, and there's nothing that's gonna get in your way to stop it. Like, that was just such an inspiring stat, and I'm so glad that you shared it.
Jack, your coach's corner is not until the end of this episode, but
You're right.
that
That was giving
whoa,
coach's corner for
yeah,
sure.
but the way you said that, God, you guys, when Jackie drops those little like nuggets of, I'm like, ooh, that's going in her future memoir.
Yeah,
That's,
when I get in my zone, it's like, here we go."
she's gonna be on a TED Talk someday, like, and I'll be
So are
behind
you.
stage being like, say this.
We'll, like, have a sheet of, like, all the things that I've said.
100%. There's one other thing that I think is worth calling out. Last week, we talked about the high impact player rule with the NWSL, which is, do you mind just reminding everybody just quickly what the high impact player rule is?
It's the Trinity Rodman rule, basically, where they're going to go outside of the cap of the team and pay a
Mhm.
player, just outside of the salary cap.
Right. Well, the players union came back and they're fighting it
Yeah.
really hard, which we kind of anticipated would happen. I think the important theme here is that these women's leagues are looking to like global, like they're thinking about global expansion.
Mhm.
For them to reach global expansion, one, they have to have a path towards profitability, but also they have to be thinking about how to compete with global leagues on pair play. And we also know, as we covered last week, that the premier clubs overseas can just pay the players more. That's
Yeah.
just like they have different rules, and it's creating a lot of unique moves between US players going out of the US, global players coming into the US. And so it's just really interesting to see how the NWSL specifically right now is really thinking with a global mindset. And part of that is addressing how do we pay signature players more.
Right. I think it's super, super interesting and just obviously a little bit new in the sense for me to think about because it's not like that in basketball. Um, okay, so based on the article that you read, like, what were your biggest takeaways?
Well, I think number one, the NWSL is really looking at how to expand and bring really signature players overseas to the US. I
Mhm.
think that's a big one. I know the San Diego Wave just had a huge trade, or maybe they brought in a bigger player. And then obviously we've talked about the Thorns with Sophia Wilson, trying to keep a player that has a lot of brand equity in a franchise and a winning franchise. So I think that was one big takeaway for me is like, how do we compete on a global scale? Because there's no doubt in my mind that these, like I said, these leagues are thinking global,
For sure.
and pay is always just the biggest challenge is how do you stay profitable as a league, especially because these leagues don't play year round, right?
Yeah.
So like they rely on media deals, big media deals, merchandise, obviously fans and membership being at the games to drive energy and growth. But there's always a period of time where, the growth just starts. I mean, like it's like any brand, right? You have to look at these leagues and teams as brands too.
Right.
But also we're heading into major World Cup years.
Yeah.
We have Men's World Cup this year, we have Women's World Cup next year, and the US is gonna host a lot of these World Cups, and then we have the Olympics. So
Mhm.
the next 3 to 4 years of women's soccer is going to be like, the growth of that is going to be crucial
Right.
because of the global events that are happening.
No, for sure, and well said. I think too that is, like, also why Project B is so enticing to a lot of players because of the global aspect.
Mhm.
Everyone wants that global recognition, that global marketing to be able to utilize, and I think that, yeah, it's interesting what the NWSL is doing. I totally agree with it. I don't know how it's all gonna pan out, but it's exciting stuff, and any chance you could be global, I think that's just, like, amazing for, like, an individual brand.
Yeah, and to remind everybody, Project B is the new women's basketball global league that has like a ton of lore around it right now. Like nobody real I mean, Jackie probably knows a lot more than the rest of us, but they're basically able to play these, signature players hella money to come play for this league.
Hella money.
But I will say that lately I've been seeing people like really questioning Project B because there's
Yeah,
been no social media activity. No other players have announced that they're gonna join, and I
yeah.
imagine this is just they did a hurry up offense to get it out the door, with a few signature players, but I'm
Yeah, I
sure
think
there's more
I
coming.
think optically, like, I could understand why it looks like that for sure, because it's like, why haven't there been any more announcements on players, etcetera, right? So, optically, like, totally understand that and, like, definitely feel you on that.
But don't underestimate there's lots happening behind the scenes, and I mean, just because it's not happening right now on social media doesn't mean it's not happening, just as a reminder.
That is a fact. One other thing I wanted to talk about, though, before we wrap, um, I did see a recent article about the drop in viewership with Unrivaled Season 2. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on that because there were some numbers that were talked about in a recent article of just like the huge viewership drop off. And I just want to know what you think and why do you think that is?
So, I was just talking to somebody about this, somebody else, and I think
Who were you talking to about this that wasn't me?
I know, what the heck? It was our producer, but
I'm like, drop the name. Like, what?
you're like, "I'm taking
Okay, got
names
it. I feel
right
fine
now."
about that. You're
But,
good.
my perspective on viewership drop with Unrivaled is I'm not surprised, and I'll tell you why. Whenever there's an announcement of something new and novel, there's always going to be a hockey stick curve of engagement. I also think what's challenging is when the games are and trying to catch them all. I think the timing of the year is really tough. Obviously,
Mhm.
last year was like a huge to do because it was like hot off the WNBA season where there was just like we weren't having CBA issues last year like we are now. And I also think that they did a lot of momentum building around the holidays where people are online. And now in the new year, like attention is just really split. And
Yeah.
I think that you had fans in like, let's call it season one, where they're like, what is this all about? I want to be part of it. Some of them stayed. Naturally, you're going to have some attrition. That's just how building brands goes. I think what's going to be crucial for Unrivaled is consistency and innovation in the league because they are competing against other leagues, not just within women's basketball, but other leagues. We have March Madness. NCAA women's basketball has been so exciting to watch this season. There's just a fight for eyeballs.
Yeah.
And also they don't have a lot of places for people to go watch. Like the TV and the social media is really 90 to 95% of where most fans can engage with Unrivaled right now in
Yeah.
a deeper way. And so they definitely have an uphill battle, but I really believe in the brand, and I think they have such a good story, and if they can continue to expand where they play, how they play, merchandise. They just did the big Together collab with Everybody Watches Unrivaled, and it like sold out, and I'm pretty sure it sold out. So I just think like as long as they stay on top of it and they get more expansion, there's still a big opportunity to grow viewership.
Yeah, I agree. I think I liked what Alex, the founder, said that like it's a league is not going to be built overnight. Like it's going to take time. I think he was right on with that. I also think too, not having Angel Reese and Sabrina Ionescu this year probably had something to do with the viewership drop off as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that you made great points about just like timing of games, like other things that are happening right now on TV. Like I think again, like everything is like trial and error, like they're going to make corrections and work on things that are going to help, with viewership moving forward and next year. And yeah, so anyways, I totally agree with what you're saying, and I thought the article was interesting, but I also think there's definitely two sides to it.
Absolutely. And what I will remind and encourage everybody to think about is women's sports get absolutely hammered about viewership because it's always, well, it's not men's sports, it's not the NBA, it's not this, it's not that. And just remember that just because we had a dip in viewership doesn't mean the lead isn't succeeding.
Right.
So
No, for sure.
it's like I just want to make sure because the media will they will attach to the clickbait headlines to make people feel a certain way immediately. And my ask for all of our viewers or listeners is please, please, please think critically about those headlines because that is not the full story.
Totally agree. And I know like Unrivaled merchandise pops off. So I know they're doing really good in that part of their business, which is, yeah, makes sense.
Well, and think about it too. The last point I'll make on this, and then we can move on, is we're going to have another wave of players from NCAA who have massive followings that are going to be coming into the league who will be ripe to join Unrivaled. Like
Hmm.
we're only going to
Or other
see,
leagues.
yeah, or other leagues too, but we are only going to see the value of these players go up, especially from a brand perspective because of what's happening in the college space that these professional leagues can benefit from. Like
Yep.
player-led communities, player-led
Absolutely.
platforms, that's the future.
Absolutely. I agree.
And
Well,
Jacki is one of those platforms. So go follow her, please.
thanks, Blue. I love you.
Okay,
Sorry.
Jack, before we do Coach's Corner, I just want you to react to one thing.
Okay.
You ready?
Hmm.
I want you to fill in the blank. One sentence, okay? If
Sentence or a word?
word or a sentence.
Okay.
If leagues want fans to stick around, they need to.
Have easier access for fans to engage with players.
Love that.
Like
Love
that?
that. Yeah, that was
Hey.
fantastic. I
Okay.
agree.
That was
I
good. I like
agree.
that. I'm gonna flip that question to you. If leagues want fans to stick around, they need to
Stop assuming that we, the fans, are going to put in the extra work to find the games.
ooh, Mike motherfucking drop. Hell yeah.
I was just having a conversation about this, which is every single league has to have a massive orbit of fan groups. Massive.
Yeah.
Because those fan groups, those community rooted fan groups, are the ones that are going to bring out the people like me who have two kids who can't always make it to an arena or can't always focus on turning on the TV and watching for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, but if there's a fun bar to take my kids to, that sounds weird, but a fun place to go watch the games, right? Well, my kids are running around doing their thing and I get to be with community and it's different. So
For
to
sure.
me, and that's what women are so good at is building those communities. So that is what I believe has to be true. And the leagues need to be more intentional about leveraging their brands, I think, into these fan groups so that there's a closer connection to the court or the pitch or wherever it is.
Yes. Say less.
Okay, well, you've already blessed us with your wisdom throughout this entire episode.
Oh, have I?
You
So have
have.
you.
You're always just so full of wisdom, and I love it. What is on your mind for Coach's Corner this week?
I'll make Coach's Corner super short this week, but what I will say this week, and this has been hitting home for me these past couple days and just what I've been thinking a lot about, is it's so important to allow the people around you to grow, right? And I think that Um, if you have bosses, if there's people that work under you, whatever the case may be, just allowing people to flourish and grow, is so important to someone's success and someone's confidence. And I think it happens so much, and I see it around me with different situations and different people. And it's just like something to just remind everyone, like, if you're a boss, if you are not a boss and you have a boss, like, I think those conversations are okay to have with the people around you because you want people to grow and not just stay the same, you know? Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
I love that. That couldn't be more relevant for me right now too, just because we have so many balls in the air. We have people doing incredible things, and when you're passionate about something, especially someone like me, the intention is always, well, let me help, let me jump in. I want to share my knowledge. But sometimes you do need to let people kind of fly and just figure out their way and be a mentor, a support system, because
Love
also
that, well said.
you're not going to grow either.
Right,
Like, for example, if I'm, needing to pass off social media because I need to drive the business in a different direction, I can't be the one saying, do this, do that, it's like I can be a partner, but I want to help other people grow and I need to grow. I need to grow into how do I actually start making money for this business? And
yeah,
so I think it's a two-way challenge. But I think it's a great reminder, especially for people in leadership roles,
for sure.
because you have all kinds of leaders out there, leaders that are really great with autonomy of their
Mhm.
people, and then leaders that micromanage, and then somewhere in between. And we're all never going to get it right because humans are imperfect.
For
But
sure, and managing people is so hard.
oh my God,
Like,
so hard.
especially if you have to manage more than one person, if you're managing, like, a team, it's so hard. But, like, I just think it's so important to find that balance, like you're talking about, like, allowing some flexibility, but also, like, mentoring and helping, but just, like, it's okay when someone messes up, and I think that, like, yes, it's a teaching moment, but, like, it's also okay because people are gonna learn and they're gonna figure out, the next time to do it a different way.
I mean, some of my greatest moments of discovery was when I absolutely fucked up. I was like, but the difference was how different leaders em- embraced that or didn't and helped me grow from that. And why this coach's corner is even more important and relevant right now is middle management is getting absolutely sucked away in corporate America and across industries because people are looking for cheaper labor. They're putting more responsibility on senior leaders to manage more people. And
Right.
that is going to create a massive issue with growth and development of talent. And I think it's also a big reason why the next generation, like, they're just not willing to put up with crappy jobs. Like, they're just
Yeah,
like, I've had it, And so it is our duty as millennials, as the generation that's heading upwards, to figure out, even if we, shift jobs or we don't get the management position we want, there's so many ways to lead. So find a younger person who needs that support and you can be a leader in a lot of different ways. That's the greatest thing I learned in my career. You don't need a director title to be a director.
oh, so good.
Just saying.
That was great. I
Just
agree
saying.
with everything you're
I mean,
saying.
I chased that title for so long. I was
I
like,
know.
"I'm gonna be a VP at Nike by the time I'm 40. That's gonna happen." But I'm like, "What does that even mean? Is that what I want? Why am I chasing a
Here you
title?"
are at 37. You're the founder and CEO, and you're entrepreneuring your way through this shit. You're in such a different light than you thought you were gonna be, and girl, let me tell you, you are fucking killing it,
We are killing it.
for
And,
sure.
yeah, great coaches corner, super, super relevant, and, just really wanna help young talent get better.
Absolutely.
We'll
This
talk
was
more about that in the
yeah.
future too.
Oh, no, for sure.
We're vibing, the sun is out.
The
I'm
sun is out.
feeling like I need to go take a Jackie walk right now.
Yeah, I'm about to take a walk, and then I'm also about to go get a Farmer and the Beast burger. I'm gonna do a double patty. I'm gonna do onions, grilled onions, extra cheese, no bun, only lettuce,
Okay.
fries. I'm about to get after it.
Get crazy, girl. Get those calories in. Get those calories in. I had a homemade quesadilla before this call and it it
That
gave
wait, I just have to say, anytime Carla makes a quesadilla, she is pissed off at me because that means we have no food. She's like, "All I can do is fucking make a quesadilla, like, I'm tired of these quesadillas." So that's funny. But I
I
know
actually
I know Nolan loves his quesadillas because he was one
he
for Halloween.
he freaking loves a quesadilla and I have a fully stocked fridge and I still made a quesadilla. So
I mean, I love quesadillas. Who doesn't love a quesadilla?
yeah, it's the best. It's the best. But anyways, great episode. I love you, Jack. And remember, please remind the Clack Pack, Jack.
Clack Pack, we need y'all to like, comment, and subscribe on all of our channels, especially YouTube, because we have a new YouTube and we have 6 subscribers. So we need that number to go up. So make sure you subscribe there and then also head to our Instagram and TikTok channels as well.
All right, you guys, have a beautiful rest of your week. We love you and we'll catch you soon.
Mwah. Thank you, Clack Pack.
Bye.
Ciao.